On this episode of Cox Connections, you're watching Cox Connections only on Cox 11. During its heyday in the early 1900s, legendary performers like Nat King Cole, Dinah Washington, Duke Ellington, and Red Fox graced the stage of the Attucks Theater. Nearly a century later, the Crispus Attucks Cultural Center was created in order to restore the operations of the Attucks Theater. Today, the center continues to host top musical acts and performances while providing educational programs that enrich the lives of individuals and therefore improve the quality of life in our communities. Executive Director of the Crispus Attucks Cultural Center, Gail Easley, joins us today, and with her is Jaquan Jones, representing the students in the RISE program, which is available at the center. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Gail, let me start with you. I gave a little bit of the history behind the Attucks Theater, but it goes much deeper than what I just mentioned. Can you give me a brief history lesson, if you will, on how the Attucks Theater came about? What was it named for? Just tell me a little bit of history about that.
Well, the Attucks Theater was built in 1919. It was the vision of the Twin Cities Amusement Corporation, which was comprised of a group of African-American businessmen from Portsmouth and Norfolk. And it was designed by a young African-American architect by the name of Harvey and Johnson Jr. And its namesake is Crispus Attucks, which is the African-American patriot that died at the Boston Massacre.
So in addition to the performances and events that occur at the theater, there is a whole facet, another whole realm of what the center actually does. Talk a little bit about the mission and what you're trying to achieve at the center.
Well, the Crispus Attucks Cultural Center engages young people in the arts and significant exposure in the arts to develop the skills they need to be successful in school, at work, and in life. And our programs range from theater to music to technology, African diaspora experiences as well for students of all ages, backgrounds, and races. And we have a great track record demonstrated by the fact that 90% of our high school students graduate on time or serve in the military compared to 76% of their peers.
Well, speaking of students, Jaquan, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
And let's talk about some of the programs that are available at the center. And maybe you start with the RISE program. That's such a great
the RISE program, yeah, that's kind of a big one. It helps kids my age just through everyday life things, life expectations and things like that. But other programs other than RISE, like musical theater and photography, are very educational, and it's wonderful because you never know what's going to come up. And in my case, it came up during my science class in the fall in 8th grade. Like in photography, I learned about refraction, the bending of light as it goes through one substance to through another. I quickly raised my hand in science class, and when I raised my hand, I told her. She was like, "Oh, how did you know that?" I said, "I learned it in photography class at the Attucks Theater over the summer." So when
So it helps you. This is something you're doing at the center. It's actually helping you academically in the school year.
Yeah, just like mime. And I know Mr. Alan G. Ellis tells us that our facial expression and body movements can sense what the teacher's going to think. So like if she says something and we have like that kind of movement with our body and our facial expressions, she senses that we're in a bad mood, which is why I try to like carry myself in a good mood for the teacher can think, that I'm, ready and coming class to work. So it helps.
That is a great lifelong lesson, and you've learned that already at such a young age. That is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Gail, the RISE program was recently honored at the White House. As a matter of fact, I think we have a short clip if we could show that right now.
You make all this happen on shoestring budgets. You do it in unbelievable ways. In some of the most difficult circumstances imaginable. And I know that you put a lot of late nights and long hours in to give these kids opportunities worthy of their promise. But you keep on doing this year after year because you have seen firsthand the transformative power of the arts and arts education in the lives of young people across this country. You know that the skills that you're teaching, skills like problem solving and teamwork, self-expression, these skills aren't just valuable in the studio or in the theater, but they are critical in the classroom and will be in the workplace when you all get there, right? You see it in rising graduation rates because all of these kids are going to college, right? Yes. Let's hear it again. Yes, indeed. You see kids who never considered going to college finally saying to themselves, well, if I can publish my own writing, if I can create my own artwork, if I can get up in front of all these people and perform anywhere, including the East Room of the White House, well, then certainly I can go to college, right? Of course, I can continue my education and expand my ambitions and pursue my dreams, right? You are here. You can do anything. And that's why it is so critical that we preserve arts education in our schools.
Next award goes to RISE, Rhythm in Setting Expectations, a year-round arts program for 700 low-income teens at the Crispus Attucks Cultural Center in Norfolk, Virginia, focusing on the cultures of the African diaspora.
What a wonderful honor. Tell me what that meant, Gail, being there at the White House.
Being at the White House was an amazing experience. And just to know that for us to represent Hampton Roads and the state of Virginia was incredible. And to know that our programs like RISE are not only valued investments for our children, but also in our community.
Right. Well, we only have a couple of seconds left. Jaquan, I'm going to leave you with the last question and the last answer. There are other young people who may be watching this. What would you tell them about your experiences at the Crispus Attucks?
I would tell them that it's a phenomenal experience. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Not every day that there's a community theater doing things that the Attucks is doing. They're doing a lot of wonderful things there, educational things there, and they're teaching us a lot of life morals. Mr. Monty, he teaches me a lot of things on a daily basis there every time I go there. So I would tell them to join in.
Showing up.
It's fun. It's really fun. It's a learning experience, and it's something that you don't come across each day, and take advantage of it while you can.
Well, we'll leave it there. Thank you both for joining us today. After the break, we've got an exciting new product to share with you that will not only enhance your communications experience, but will also help you protect what you care about the most. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Cox Connections.